Hello, and we are live. Well, hello. Hi, Kathy Kelly. I see you. Evelyn is on her way. I don't know. We have the time change, and so sometimes we get a little um, turned around with the time. So she is on her way. I'm not sure. I'm going to fix my computer here. Wow, it's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I had said last week I was going to try to come on Friday mornings and say hello and just give an update what's going on with me, maybe meet up with some teacher friends here. And I see Kathy in the chat. Awesome. So her class got rescheduled. Ooh, awesome. Well, sometime if you want to come on here and show your face, let me know. All I do is I will send a link to anyone who wants to join me for an interview. And my name is Cindy, and thank you for coming to my channel. And today I'm going to be interviewing Evelyn Joy, and she is my teacher friend from YouTube. I have never actually met her in person, but we have chatted a lot through our YouTube videos. I comment on hers, she comments on mine. Now we're friends on Facebook and we share in a lot of different ways. We're also involved in a YouTube friends group and we support each other, watch each other's videos. We just joined a new group where we're going to make videos for our teaching online. So today I wanted to talk to Evelyn about her as a teacher, what she's doing as a teacher, and also as a parent, because she has her own kids that take classes. She homeschools and she's also a teacher. So she's been, has a lot of different experiences that she can share with us. And so if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat box while we talk today. And so I will bring on Evelyn. Hello. So did you get mixed up with the times?
Yes, I thought, but this actually works way better for my schedule, so we're good.
Okay, yeah, because I usually try to say this certain time Eastern Standard because I can't always remember what everybody else's time zone is.
Yeah.
But we've kind of gotten a little bit out of the habit because VIP Kid used to make it a little easier for us to figure that out, I think, because you live with it every single day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hello. It's good to see
Hello.
you and chat in person.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about your teaching online first, and then I wanted to kind of talk about as a parent, how you use, especially using like online classes, because a lot of times I tell people, because I teach online, and since I've been back into the classroom, I will mention virtual teaching and the kids just shudder. Like they have like PTSD from 2020. Like, being forced into it and
Yeah.
their teachers weren't really ready and it was just a big kind of a negative thing.
Well,
But
I shudder when I hear how they were doing it.
yeah,
Because a friend of mine told me she had to force her 6-year-old to sit in front of a screen all day long. And I'm like,
yeah,
that's not how
yeah,
she does it. So I think
yeah,
30-minute increments is like a lot more manageable than like all
right.
day long.
Right. That's why I kind of thought it would be good to talk like how you utilize the virtual classes. It's not like you're okay, we're homeschooling, like sign in at 8 and I'll see you at 2 or 3. No,
Yeah.
it's not like that at all.
Uh,
And so, but let's talk about first as a teacher.
okay.
So, what companies do you work for right now?
So right now I work for 2 companies, Outschool, and I just started at Tutor Gigs.
Okay. Okay, so what do you teach on Outschool? I have my Outschool shirt on right now.
Oh, nice.
I love it. It's actually really very comfortable. And I said, I'll just wear this today.
That's perfect. Um, on Outschool, I teach Spanish, so I'm fluent in
Okay.
Spanish. I teach mostly 2 different, well, 4 different classes, but 2 main classes. So I teach Spanish conversations for beginners for ages 10 to 14. That's my most popular one. I have Spanish Fun for little ones, which is for ages 4 to 9. I also have like a Spanish conversations class for ages, no, not 4 to 9, 5 to 9, sorry. And then I have a Spanish conversations class for 5 to 9 as well. And then I have an intermediate class that meets once a week on Saturdays. So yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, and my son did take your beginning classes, like, when you first very started, and
Mhm.
did really well. He enjoyed it. It just, we started regular school and it got to be where it was hard to schedule it, but it was
That's
really good. I really liked it. I liked how you would just take like a topic and kind of just converse about that topic and use the words that go along with it. And then you would choose topics that were relatable. Like, say you're going on a trip, you have to go to a hotel or restaurant or go to the bathroom. I think that was did you do that one?
well, I mean, that's a useful phrase to ask where the bathroom is, right?
Right, exactly. So I
Yeah.
can remember when I went to Canada and I had taken French, and my parents, I had gone to public school, and we did conversation like that too. We went up to Canada and we realized, we went to the little store and we realized everybody spoke French. So here I am, like 10 years old. And they're like, Cindy, you know French. Tell them we need mosquito. We were camping and we needed mosquito repellent and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think we learned the word mosquito.
Yeah.
It was probably just mosquito. I don't know. But it was so funny. They looked at me, this little junior high kid, you tell them, Cindy. I'm like, I
That's
really,
when you start trying to act it out and you look ridiculous because you're like adding bugs or something.
yep, that's what we did. So yeah, it was kind of fun. But yeah, so okay, so Spanish, that's a really useful class. My
Mhm.
older kids actually learned Spanish from someone that we had gotten that's before computers, and they did like in-person Spanish class when they were younger, and we homeschooled. It was kind of fun.
Mhm.
Um, so that would be like, say I sign my kid up for Spanish. Would you say it's once a week or twice a week, or how much is?
My classes, I have them meet once a week. So, but other teachers on the platform meet multiple times a week. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like when I did French, it was like, I think it was like almost every day that we did the classes. Um, and so, okay, so out school, I also do teach out school. And right now, oh, hello, Luann. Right now I'm not actually teaching right now, but I have knitting classes up and I'll do knitting sometimes. But right now I'm taking a break. In June, I did it was kind of a cooperative craft class, and I taught some yarn projects. So that was really an interesting experience. I enjoyed it. It was more like, it was called a buyout. So a school bought the program, and so it wasn't like the parents filled in. It was the school opened it up for their students. So it was kind of another way for them to use the platform for another group.
Was that out school or what platform was
Yeah,
that?
throughout school.
Okay, very cool. Oh,
I only got into it because I knew somebody that was doing it. So, somebody invited me to it. It
yeah.
wasn't anything you could apply for. I don't know how it really came about. I just kind of.
I also teach with a pod of teachers. So I teach preschool Spanish. So like that's a pod that we do. So there's 5 of us teachers and we each teach a different preschool subject. So one might teach like science class, another one teach like phonics, and I teach Spanish for that one as well. So
Oh, very cool. Okay. So in a pod, like say I'm a parent and I'm signing up for something like that, is it one group of students that has all 5 teachers?
yes. So
Okay.
let's say it's the same time every day, but you have On Monday, you're going to have science, like
Oh,
science. On Wednesday, you have music. And on Friday, you have Spanish. And then the next week, it's Tuesday and Thursday. So it's the same time, but one week it's 3 days in the week, and the next week it's 2 days in the week. And
oh, interesting.
Mhm.
So did parents sign up for a pod? Is it, I've never seen how parents could sign up for that.
Yes. The idea originally is that groups of parents that like knew each other would like sign their kids up for a class, but I think they opened it up to anybody that wants to sign up for a pod. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool. Well, that's interesting. So then you don't have to keep finding like one teacher for one thing, one teacher for another thing. You just sign up for one thing and then you have something different every day. One
Yes,
group.
but I think maybe the negative to it, and maybe they'll change it in the future, is that you have to pay up front for all of the classes that you're gonna take. Whereas I prefer the weekly going, because as a parent, I'm not in the position to just like pay $200 out of pocket. You know what I mean? I prefer paying like $20 a week or whatever, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. But
mm,
that's an option, like, say you're homeschooling, and I mean, I homeschooled times where I was the only parent, the only person doing anything, and all day long it was just me. Sometimes I would say, "Okay, go watch TV for half an hour." Like, when my kids were little, we had Mr. Rogers, so that was pretty cool, you
yeah.
know? So he was good because he was kinda quiet, and he wasn't like throwing stuff at them all day long. But it's still not regular conversation. I out school's cool because it's a real teacher and you can be prepared for it like but you don't have to go anywhere. So that's kind of a really nice way of adding to your homeschool day, having a teacher. So
Mhm.
I had times where I would just tell them to watch TV. I also did videos where it's distance learning, and that was really good. But out school is still that one step further where you have that interaction. And plus you might have other kids in the class that they can kind of interact with as well. So that's kind of cool.
Definitely. And I would say too, um, it's an advantage to outsource teachers that have skills that you may not have. For example, I'm fluent in Spanish, and I would
Mhm.
guess, well, the majority of my students, their parents aren't fluent in Spanish, and those that are fluent in Spanish, they don't know how to teach their child Spanish, even if they speak Spanish. They just speak it around them, but they don't know how to like
Right.
knowledge in their brain, you know, they
Right.
speak Spanish, but they're not a teacher, you know, or they may not speak Spanish and they want their child to have that skill. For example, I don't play piano, but I want my kids to. So my kids are taking piano lessons and they're doing really well. So for things that are not our skill set,
Mhm.
it helps to outsource to other
Yeah,
parents and
that's
other
cool.
teachers.
So you're doing piano lessons online on
No,
us?
piano lessons are in person.
Oh, they're in person.
That's
Okay.
something that's a little harder to learn online, you
Yeah.
know?
I did actually teach piano online.
Yeah, I mean, we would take it if we didn't have an in-person piano teacher.
Yeah. I mean, I think in person would definitely be easier, but I think online, like, it was definitely cheaper because
Yeah.
I did like 1 month classes, and then I did a group, and I had like 3 or 4, and then it was really fun because each week they would kind of want to play for the other students and
Mhm.
show them, and then like one kid maybe they didn't get it, and they see that the other kid's getting it, and then they want to do it like them, and there was a little bit of a competition there, which was kind of cool. And I was really amazed at how well they did. And I did what you call the Suzuki method, where you teach them how to play it before you teach the notes, kind of like you learn how to speak before you learn how to read. And
Mhm.
so, they did really well. So I did 1 month, and then if they wanted to sign up for a second month, they would sign up for a second month. And then after the 2 months, then I did private. If they got that far, then I would do one-on-one. And I
Mhm.
had one kid that kept going with it, and then he ended up quitting once 2020 and all that junk was over and he could do in person. But I really think he's a prodigy. Like he's a prodigy. Like he
That's
was amazing.
that's really cool. I'm
Yeah.
I'm seeing different learning styles in my own kids because I just have one child signed up for piano lessons because originally I had both Esther and Deborah go to piano lessons, but Deborah was not on task. She's a little younger and different personality, so she was not behaving, and I'm like, I'm not paying
Yeah.
for you to misbehave during class. But so Esther is a little older, a little bit more mature. She's been taking the lessons and learning really well. But Deborah has a different learning style. She maybe more learns on the go and from
Yeah.
observation. So she observes her sister without her sister teaching her the songs. She watches her sister play and then she plays and memorizes it without anybody even teaching it to her.
Oh,
So I have two for the price of one
yep,
piano.
yep, yep. And it's funny, I've met two men that are kind of, they're older, they're not little kids or anything, but both of them learned that way, and they both do more than the person who actually took the lesson. There was a man at my church that his parents could only pay for his sister, and his sister wouldn't really teach him. So he would sit at the door and listen, and the piano teacher did not like it. She kept shutting the door on him and stuff because he didn't pay for the lesson. But he became a musician and like sang, and he played the piano, the organ, like it was all by ear.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I'll see Deborah going there, like playing, and then she'll be like, "What's the next note, Mom?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And then she's like, I hear her like trying the different ones to like listen to
Wow. So she's doing it by ear.
it by
That's
ear.
good.
Yeah, and by observation, just like watching her sister.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is Caleb, he's autistic and he's 2. So he's delayed in like social communication, but he doesn't he doesn't get like a new word at a time. He gets a new song at a time. So he's very musically inclined. Like randomly, his siblings were singing the
Wow.
Spanish alphabet, and without me ever having heard him say a letter in Spanish, he sang the whole Spanish alphabet. So he's very musically inclined. And when he plays with the piano, he plays from low to high and high to low. And he has his ear turned like he's listening to the notes. So I feel like, even though he's 2.5, I feel like he's going to be a pianist at some point.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, so we switched to parenting really quick,
Yeah.
but we didn't finish the teacher part.
Yeah.
So what's the other company that you're working for?
Okay, so Tutor Gigs is one that I'm dabbling in. Why? Because I think it's important to diversify. I've preached that a lot on my channel. Because what if one day OutSchool just decides to let me go? You never know. And I
Right.
need to have a backup plan for paying bills, right? So
Sure.
I heard about Tutor Gigs. There's an interview on Teacher Casey's channel. Um,
Okay.
and she interviewed a teacher with Tutor Gigs, and then our friend Meredith, she also signed up for Tutor Gigs, and she let me know that there was some Spanish classes on there. And so I went ahead and paid for the background check and paid for the fingerprints. Kind of has a little bit of startup costs, but I've been teaching on there. What I like about it is the model is flipped around, whereas on VIP Kid and OutSchool, we're used to, you set up your profile, you open your time slots, and you hope people pick you and sign up, right?
Mhm.
Cool thing about Tutor Gigs is they sort of let you know, we're going to be posting classes and you have to get on there during the rush, and you get to claim jobs and click them, and then when you click it, it's your job. You don't have to wait around for like parents to find you. So that's
Wow.
kind of the cool
That's
thing about that
yeah.
setup, because um I just wanted to get it for times like during the summer when there's a decline in students and stuff like that. And so I've been tutoring 4th grade math. And the cool thing is you don't have to come up with your own curriculum. They give it to you. So they pay you $20, and it's kind of an hour of work because it's 45-minute like lesson, but you have to like get logged on early and upload the slides and get set up. And then you have to fill out a quick survey afterwards. So it's like an hour of work and it's $20, but I feel like it's worth it to be set up with a second company. And I just got my first pay today, which was nice. So it's nice to have a second paycheck, and they pay weekly as well. So it's nice to get paid on Friday with Tutor Gigs and then get paid on Sunday with
School.
out school,
So do they like, what are the hours for Tutor Gigs?
So for example, right now it's in the summertime, so it's a little bit different than in the school year. So Tutor Gigs, we're actually tutoring kids in the public schools. So for example, these kids are probably in summer school right now, so there's not as many opportunities. But it seems like my experience with the math, right, is I taught 3 students, and they're all in the classroom. Like, think of like a classroom full of students that are all on their iPads with headphones taking tutoring lessons. It's kind of like small groups within their public school classroom. You know what I mean? That's why we had to do the background checks and the fingerprints, because it's working with public school kids.
So can they talk? They can talk. They're in a classroom, but they can talk.
Yeah. So there's a lot of background noise, so they mute their mics, but I have them, like, we were doing word problems. So I was having them unmute to read the word problem. And then as I was working it out, I was like writing on the screen, and I was telling them, all right, what's 9 minus 2? Show me on your fingers. So they would all show me, or they can like type in the chat box. I would be like, which letter do you think it is? Which one do you think is the answer? And they could write the answer in the chat box and stuff.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
Could you ask them to use like a whiteboard or something?
No, but they could write in the chat box. I think they can write on the screen, but I need to figure out how to like enable them to write on the screen.
Interesting. Okay.
Out the platform. But
Okay.
yeah.
So when you get the material, is it just like right then and there you have to just do what comes up? You don't have like the night before to look at it or anything like that?
Whenever you sign up for the class, whenever you click claim job, that's when you have the materials.
Okay.
But you have to download the slides to your computer, and then when you sign on, you have to upload the slides for the class. And then you have to click share. And there's actually a record button. So you start the class, but then you also have to remember to click record.
Wow.
But you have like an observer who is there. You don't see them, but they can tell you if you're messing up or something. They'll tell you in the chat box, like, hey, don't forget to push the record button or whatever. So that's
okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
That is really interesting. So like during the school year, schools can like access this service or something.
Mm-hmm.
So they need help with math. With math might be something they would want someone else to teach.
Yeah.
A lot of teachers don't like math, unfortunately.
Well, I remember, for example, in the public schools, I was an ELL aide, so that's English language learner aide, and I would teach small groups of math or reading and stuff. But sometimes because of like finances, they might have like gotten rid of those positions. And so they might be able to outsource like just for 30 minutes, like, or 45 minutes, a person that can teach. It might be a lot cheaper for the school system, you know?
So did you feel like it was effective?
Yes. Well, so 6 different times I didn't have students show up. So what I had to do was just sit there and read the slides and record myself just like teaching to no one.
So you knew what the class was, but you just didn't have any students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they were having like connection problems, and maybe the teachers didn't know how to set it up or once. The first time I felt like it was really, really good because the kids were attentive. The materials were not too hard. The second time I felt like I maybe got a couple of troublemakers and someone who was tired. So they were kind of goofing off, and one was kind of falling asleep a little bit. So, luck of the draw. And also I was teaching very difficult material. So I think they were a little bit like slightly lost and were kind of trying to get through the material and kind of trying to unpack it and understand it and stuff.
Story problems are hard. I find that even when I have the same kids, they see words and they just shut down. And
Well,
I'm trying to get them to realize that that's why you're learning math, because someday you will have a problem. And it will be words, but it will be
multiple
numbers.
step, like first you had to
Multiple.
add, then you had to divide, and then you had to add, then you had to divide, then you had to subtract. So it was like multiple step, kind of complicated for fourth graders,
Yeah,
but
that sounds like it. Yeah.
yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Okay. So excellent. Now I'm working for Outschool, but I'm doing in-person school. So I'm not really doing another company. I'm kind of taking a break.
I'm also teaching Spanish at our homeschool co-op once a week.
Ooh, nice.
But that's not paid. It's just like it's nice because my kids get to take classes and I'm teaching and I'm there if they need me.
Good.
So.
Now, how often is your co-op? How often does that mean?
Well, it's kind of far away, so I could have chosen once a week or twice a week. We were really excited to do twice a week, but with gas prices and with it being 35 minutes away, we decided to do once a week. So
Yeah,
we're just going to do Tuesdays. We were going to do twice a week, but it just
that's
also whenever I'm away from home, I can't be teaching out
yeah,
school. So it's like less money and more gas. So financially, I had to do just once a week. So
yeah.
for
Okay.
now.
All right. So, what are your plans as a parent? So I'm going to be putting some more videos on my channel about education, like, what are our goals? That's a good thing for parents because we're going to switch to talking about as parents now what we do. I personally have done homeschool. I've taught at 3 different Christian schools. I did homeschool during the shut down. I was working at a school, then I had to go home and do homeschool. So I know what it's like with the teachers that had to do virtual and the kids that all of a sudden got shoved into it, didn't want to. So I know all those different aspects. But the first thing as parents, to really sit down and figure out what your goals are for your kids. And the fact is, in our country right now, it is a blessing that we have choices
Amen.
and that we have, sometimes they're hard choices. Like for me, I stayed home with my kids, so that meant I didn't work. There was no virtual teaching online when my kids, I couldn't have anyway with a house full of kids. But I didn't have an income. Sometimes I taught piano, sometimes I did a few different things. We tried different entrepreneurial type things, but hey, Jason's here. So I really tell people that, it's a great thing that we have options in our country, and we do need to sit down and consider those options when we do make a decision, write down the pros and write down the cons and figure out what the most important things for you are. For me, one of the most important things was the philosophy behind the education, what you are instilling in them, character wise, and what you believe as far as a worldview. And since I'm a Christian, I wanted to make sure my kids understand that, God made us, He made this world, and He has a purpose for our lives. And that was my privilege as a parent to teach them. That doesn't mean that I feel like at some points it seemed like I might have been forcing it on them, but I always look at the Bible. It says that it's a choice. God made us so that we have choices, and that is His plan for humanity. He doesn't force us to worship Him, He doesn't force us to love Him. And so I think that's a really important thing for Christian parents to understand, that we have to give them the choice. And that's hard sometimes when you think maybe they're not they're not on your wavelength that sometimes. But because of God, we have this choice. And that's the worldview I wanted to teach my kids. And I wanted to also, I found benefits once I started homeschooling where I had more time. I could tailor make my program. Like my oldest daughter, she taught violin lessons in 8th grade. She
Wow,
was
that's
only in 8th grade. We had worked really hard She had started violin when she was in third grade. No, she was 3 years old when she started violin. So she doesn't remember ever not carrying a violin.
That's awesome.
And there were times I wanted to give up, but we never gave up. And when she was in 8th grade, she started teaching. But that was a great way for her to use her skills and teach people. And she only charged $4 for a half hour.
That's
Well,
awesome.
that to us was also a ministry because a lot of people were like
Can't afford it.
flocking to us because they're like, she was responsible. She's a kid. She's a good example. It's only $4. It was like a win-win situation.
I remember my mom played violin and she tried to show me how to play violin and she lost patience. So it was a one lesson thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, girl, you can't do this.
And that's the thing, that she had a gift for, working with the kids. She would make sticker charts and the parents loved her. She had like kids. So then we ended up making it like one full day a week. We had kids going in and out all day. And I made her like clean the house, clean her room. Like she did a lot of work. Looking back, I'm like, I probably expected way too much. But that's what you can do as a homeschool family. You can pick something. It doesn't have to be that, whatever you like, gardening or, whatever they prefer. And you can run with it and allow your student to thrive in that thing. And then in the background, you're keeping up with, your English and your other subjects, but you have time for that.
Can I talk for a minute about what I do with homeschooling with each of my kids real quick?
Definitely.
Okay. So I have 4 kids. Esther is 7, so she's going into 2nd grade. Deborah is 6, so she's going into 1st grade. Joshy's about to turn 5, so he's going into kindergarten. And Caleb is 2.5, and he's autistic. So I have goals for each one of them of what I want them to learn for the year. So I have different classes or curriculums that I have set up for them. So each one of my 3 big kids, I have a workbook for them from Walmart for like $7 for like it has like language arts and math, and the main thing is writing, that they're practicing writing. So Joshy's left-handed and he's learning how to write his letters, and so that's something that I try to get him to do, like 2 pages of writing most days. And I made them each like a reading chart because I feel like learning to read and practicing reading is really good. I have a huge bookshelf full of easy reader books and fun books for kids and stuff, and also like Christian books for kids and stuff. So hello Meredith and hello Kelly.
Putting everybody up there.
Yeah, we're so glad you're all here. And so I'm like emphasizing reading and writing as far as what I'm teaching them. Also, I'm teaching them Spanish. Whenever I have a class that doesn't have very many kids in out school, I'll let one of my kids sit next to me while I'm teaching. So it's like if it's their age group and there's not many kids, so they get to kind of sit in on the Spanish lesson as well. And then so Joshy's taking a phonics class because he's getting ready for kindergarten. He knows all the letter sounds and stuff. So now he needs to learn to read words and stuff. So Joshy's also taking a telling time class on Out School because I want him to learn how to tell time in kindergarten. So I also put some analog clocks around in the house so that they can practice telling time. Then Esther's taking like a tea party story time class. She's also taking like addition and subtraction class, and she's just started a multiplication class.
Okay, so let me just ask you, like in a week, like how many classes does each kid take? Or maybe you could say a day. Like how many classes per day, or how does that go? It seems like a lot, but I'm thinking is it like 1 a day or 2 a day, or?
Not every kid has a class every day. Joshy has like 2 classes a week.
Okay.
Deborah has like 2 classes a week, and Esther has like 4. because
Oh,
she's
okay.
older, like she's got more that I'm concentrating on for
Yeah.
her to learn.
So, like, so the oldest one, she has 4 classes per week. So she doesn't necessarily do a class.
But then she also has piano lessons, so she kind of
Okay.
has something
Yeah.
every all the
And
five.
as you get older, you're gonna probably do more of, like, the streamlined classes. I found. They get more, like, into books and things
Mhm.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, but also as I'm getting more confident with homeschooling, I'm not outsourcing as much because we're doing more reading and writing.
Mhm.
So my kids also have iPads that have educational apps on them, and I pay $10 a month for ABC Mouse. So they each have their own like account on there that's set to their level. And they do like math games and stuff on there, and we have a lot of like free apps like. And when if we watch TV, it's like educational stuff. So
Mhm.
like it's either like Christian kids songs or it's like we have different shows we watch that's for like learning phonics or learning math. So my kids have a lot of math facts memorized that when I sign them up for these math classes, oh, that's another one. Joshy and Deborah are both taking a like kindergarten, first grade math class for the first time now. So maybe they each have 3 classes. Forgot about that one. But yeah, so they're memorizing math facts from watching Number Blocks, which is a show. And
I've heard of that. Yeah.
also watch Alpha Blocks, Word World, and Super Y, which are all about spelling and
Mhm.
so like it's kind of like I'll say, in order to get your iPad, you have to do 2 pages of writing and read me 3 books and do your online class. But when you get your iPad, I want you to do exercise bike for 5 minutes while you're doing your iPad and also do some ABC Mouse on your iPad, not just watch shows or whatever. But then when
Right.
they go watch shows, they're watching like Number Blocks. So it's actually like
Yeah.
their like reward is also part of their education.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And my kids are just starting to get to the age where they can do like chores. So we have a pet rabbit, and like Esther and Deborah, it's their job to feed the rabbit. And um, like I'll take them during the summertime. The public school nearby has free lunches for kids. So I'll tell them, okay, clean up all your toys, put the iPads away, and we're going to go have lunch, you know? So like in order to get to go have lunch and go play on the playground, we're going to first clean up. So it's kind of like I do a lot of like action reaction. Like first we
Yeah.
have to do this, then you have to put on your shoes in order to go and stuff, you know. So and then a lot of things they're just learning from being around it. Like they're with me when I'm cooking, so they want to help. So they're learning
Yeah, that's awesome.
gardening, so they're learning garden. Whereas kids that are at public school most of the time, they aren't absorbing as much the things that their mothers do at home. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
that's true. And yeah, we did a lot of that too. Cause like if we would go on a picnic, you'll get to this point where the older kids, my older kids, I'd be like, we're going so and so place, and they could pack all the stuff. Like they would make all the sandwiches, pack all the stuff, and you know,
I
they
like.
got used to it. Yeah, they were really good. I mean, my older 3, the older 2, I said they were like they were great because what one didn't do, the other one could do, and they were good, the 2 together. But then the 3, the older 3, like, yeah, they could do anything. They were it was pretty awesome. But yeah, it gets to a point, and then that's a lesson for them because they can that's my oldest, my 3rd daughter, she does like catering and stuff like that. So
Before I forget, I forgot to mention what Caleb does because I do have some stuff for Caleb. Now, Caleb's autistic, so we have certain goals for him. So I have 2 different times a week that I have a teacher actually come to our home. So this
cool.
is like at home speech therapy and stuff like that. So one of them is uh it's called infants and toddlers, but it's a speech therapist that comes to my house. It's for little ones that are specifically behind in multiple areas. And because he's autistic, he's behind a lot with speech and stuff like that. So anyway, she comes to my house and mostly gives me ideas of activities of interacting with my son to help him learn and
Mhm.
stuff, and ideas, resources and things. And then I also do parents as teachers. So that is um, basically her job is to come to the house and teach me more how I can better meet my little one's needs.
Yeah.
So with Caleb, we have like pictures up on the refrigerator and stuff of like different foods and stuff, and we um like he can identify all of the letters and he knows a lot of songs, but he's behind in like social communication. So like teaching him like signs to ask for juice please instead
Okay.
of throwing a fit for juice, learn
Right.
to use those words. And so so each of my kids has goals for this year. And for Caleb, like we're starting to learn to put two words together and say like yellow banana. And then like once he learns to say yellow banana, then we'll say yellow banana, please. And then when he learns yellow banana, please, we'll learn to say yellow banana, please, mama. So we're kind of like adding on. Right now he says yellow nana, right? So that's like awesome. That's a start, right? So
Yeah, that's
yes,
great.
her please.
He's
But yeah.
doing good at 2.5, really.
Mm-hmm.
And so Meredith is wearing one of the shirt. I do iron on name tags, and I still do those. I just did a whole bunch of shirts for a group that I made shirts for recently, so I had to pull it out. But if anybody needs teacher names on their shirt, I made some for Meredith with stars. Hers are 5 stars. So
I might order some from you. That's good. Oh, good to know.
yeah, I had to pull it all out, and it's fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, so that is great. I think that Caleb, I watch your videos on how you work with him as being autistic and everything, and being delayed, especially the last since 2020. A lot of the young babies and toddlers were delayed because of the mask thing. And I think even just as adults, we've gone through so much, we don't realize that what the kids have been through, with all of these different strange things going on. So keeping up parenting and keeping up teachers, that's why I think encouraging one another is so important. This is the thing. I thought of having an interview with you because it had been a long time. We kind of had talked about it, but I was actually looking back in my photos at my garden from 2020 because I wanted to compare my gardens 2020, 2021, and then now. And
Mhm.
I was looking at the pictures and I'm like, I was a lot happier back then. And I'm like, I was teaching online. Everything crazy was new. So we were trying to keep up the smiles and be positive, and we were encouraging one another. And I think that for me, I've gotten worn down. I don't know about you, but I've gotten worn down. So I think it's time to revive,
I think I
encouragement.
was definitely more excited about the garden when it was all new, and now it's kind of like, oh yeah, I should probably check on my garden. Oh yeah, I
Really?
need to tie those plants. That's
Well,
right.
my garden started out better in 2020, but I didn't really get any fruit from it. But then when I switched it to the front yard last year, it was really good. And then this year, it's pretty good, but I don't feel like it's big enough. But I have something new coming up for
What's
gardening, and it's a tower garden. Have you seen them?
I saw that you posted
Yeah,
it.
I don't have it. My babies are supposed to come in the mail today. You
Okay.
get these little plants. You can grow them yourself. I actually have a kit right here. You put them in this substance right here, and you can put the seeds in there, and these little baskets hold it. And then you can grow it. It grows like faster, but it doesn't grow with dirt.
It
So,
grows
and it grows in a tower. So it's for people. This tower can be inside or outside. I'm starting it out outside, but I also have grow lights so that you can actually grow this thing inside all year long. And then you can you grow your lettuce and whatever. You can grow anything in it. I have seeds here, but the girl that I'm working with, she gave me a gift certificate. And so I'm getting some other ones. These are kind of ones I already kind of have. I have lettuce and stuff outside, but I might use these during the winter.
Well, that's nice too, because my lettuce tends to get really bitter outside when it gets too hot.
Yeah.
So if you want to eat it, it's kind of like gross.
Yeah. Well, mine is actually growing pretty well. We don't get as hot up here probably as you guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, so and then it's hydroponics, so you have to hook it up to water. So it has like a waterfall that goes in it, and it waters it continuously, and you just have to put like vitamins in it in the water.
The person you ordered through, was she a former VIP Kid teacher?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I know one former VIP Kid teacher that she's.
A lot of people have them. They say it's a really popular thing right now.
Wow.
But this girl she was posting pictures for like a whole year. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think she got my name in my state somewhere for something. Somehow we became friends on Facebook. And I'm like, finally, I said, I'm just going to do it and that's another avenue for encouragement because she loves doing it. Mm-hmm. And then I joined a group with them and they're very positive and it just gives you something else to kind of be happy about right now. Because there's a lot of things. Every time I turn around, there's something like, okay, that's not good. Okay, that's not good. Okay, but I want to still have something to smile about.
I think there's a lot of things that we don't have control over. Yeah. And so relinquishing that control, and it's kind of like the serenity prayer.
Yes.
God, grant me the serenity to accept things I cannot change, the wisdom, the strength to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Right.
That's a good thing to keep in mind. When there's a lot of overwhelming things outside of our control, we have to give it over to God and say, God, I can't, this is burdening me down. I can't fix all the problems in our country. I can't fix all these things. All I can do is, try to be a better mother. Help me be more patient. Help me not lose my patience today. Help me to, I'm a potty mouth, so help me watch my language. So sometimes I get upset and I'll say curse words and that is not good. And so I am working on that.
So, it's as teachers, it's good to encourage one another. And also, so I really like the fact that a lot of people are finding new companies to work for. I know Jason has a couple. I know he works, I can't remember the name of the one he's working for. Do you remember?
Me hear about who Jason's working for, because I remember back months and months ago, back when VIP Kid was closing down, he was looking around to see what he was doing.
So a lot of people are finding new avenues and new ways to use their talents, which I think is really amazing.
I'm glad, because sometimes I see posts on old VIP Kid groups and I see sad things that people are saying. Like people will say, so what'd you guys pivot to? What'd you do? And some people said, oh, I just got poor. And it's like, that wasn't a good option. Like
Engu, that's what it was. He's doing Engu. So if you want to see, Jason has his own native camp too.
Yeah. And he's VIP Kid as well. Are you getting classes on VIP Kid? That's good to know. I open bookings for VIP Kid, but it never books for me.
Kathy's doing all school.
I have a new contract on all school. Oh, I've never heard of all school. That's interesting.
I just think the community that VIP Kid company, not that they built personally, but that we built for them. I feel like it probably took on a life of its own that nobody expected.
Well, they hired so many of us that we kind of found each other and supported each other. And especially when we were all like kind of losing our jobs, we helped each other find other ideas,
Right.
Well,
Varsity. Okay, so Luann's doing varsity.
okay, good to know.
And oh, wow. Jason says he's getting 160 to 170 per month. 160 classes
On
or
VIP,
money?
I think he means dollars. No, maybe
Dollars?
classes. Maybe he's saying classes.
That would be a lot of classes. I don't know anybody who's doing that many classes with that.
I've been seeing people say, "Oh, I finally got a booking on VIP Kid.
Yeah.
I got a booking on VIP
I
Kid."
did sign up for VIP Kid, and I opened a few slots. I think I got $7 for opening slots, but we can still have online teacher community. We kind of do, Kelly, right? Because Kelly's one of our original. I think we should have like a meetup, like a lot of people meet up. What do you guys think?
Yes, that is a good idea.
You guys should private message me a good day and time.
Yeah.
What do you think? A good day and time? Well, I know I'm going to be doing the Friday morning update until school starts. So that's for a few more weeks. So,
Oh, I wanted to say one other thing too is part of the reason why I like OutSchool is I will have my kids' classes at 9 a.m. So it gives me a reason to make my kids wake up before 9 a.m. every day.
oh,
Oversleeping or sleeping in, So it gets them up.
I'm talking about meeting up online in a big group like this, only a bunch more people. I guess I would probably have to do Zoom because I think StreamYard only allows 4 people.
Oh, really?
Until you get the paid version.
Oh, do you have the paid version of Zoom?
I don't anymore.
Oh, okay.
Is
maybe
there a limit to people?
Maybe like Casey does, and we could like mooch. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure she'd let us do it on her channel.
Maybe. But yeah.
We can have breakout rooms. Well, we'll have to figure out what we want to do. Because I liked when we would come on and we'd have those collaborations. Maybe we should collaborate about just teaching in general instead of, so Kelly has a paid version. And Kathy's available 9 a.m. or later. Not always, but she can try. Cool. Okay.
No, good to know.
Yeah, so I will make a list and maybe we can just throw it out there, right? See what happens. See if we can get a group. Because I know I just think it'd be fun to do it on YouTube to be kind of like encouraging to people.
Definitely. And it's also something we can look back on.
Yeah. So I think that one picture that I posted on Facebook was like a birthday party, but I don't remember whose birthday it was.
Yeah.
Sorry if it was yours, Evelyn. I don't remember whose birthday.
I don't think that one was mine.
No. Maybe it was Mary. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I guess my thing about parenting is that if parents want to use virtual teaching, it doesn't have to be every day. It doesn't have to be it can be once a week, twice a week. And the thing about OutSchool too is if you see a class that you like, you could always message the teacher and request, say, I really like your Spanish class. Could you do it 2 times a week? And, the teacher might say no, but maybe the teacher, like sometimes we just throw out an idea and hope for the best. We don't really know what the parents exactly want or need.
Yeah. And then I was going to say something and I forgot. But yeah. Oh, I was going to say too, there's groups on Facebook. Let's say you're homeschooling because you want your kids to have a Christian worldview. Now, OutSchool is not a Christian platform, but there is a group on Facebook that's Christian OutSchool teachers. So you could go on there and say, I'm looking for a Spanish teacher. And then whoever responds is going to be a Christian because they're in the group, right?
Right.
Or let's say you're on a budget. You could go to some of the like free and discounted OutSchool classes and say, and like scroll through and see if you can find a discounted price. Because not everybody wants to pay $12 for a class, right? So you
Right.
might be able to find a $5 class. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and there also is, I did interview the girl who's doing the Christian new startup company. I have her video on my
yeah,
channel. Um, I'm sorry, but I can't remember the exact name of it.
that's
Um, Learning Road to Success Learning Center. Whoops. So I was just going to get her picture and show it. Road
that's
to Success Video Learning. She's the founder and she is really good. And that's just brand new. So if you go to that video, underneath that video, I do have a link to her company. She's
mhm,
looking for teachers, she's looking for parents, she's
yeah,
looking for ideas, she's looking for companies to kind of give her support. If you have a homeschool group or something, that's another thing is that we can do our advertising for each other. Like
yeah.
I can tell people, hey, I know this friend of mine that teaches Spanish online, check her out, you know, and then you can kind of word of
And
mouth,
like, yeah, for example, you had her on your channel. I think I saw her on someone else's channel as well.
Kelly's.
Kelly's channel.
Yep.
And then also, I'll probably have her on my channel just so we can get the word out, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
As we get, I mean, we have small communities, but we can.
She's anxious to get the word out. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's really sharp. And I just love her vision. Like she's very positive and she's already gotten people to work with her. Like she's very open to, any ideas. She's open to, she has her way of what she wants and everything, but she's just starting out. So she's going to need to grow with it and stuff like that. So it's really a
and
great opportunity.
I'm sure you may agree with my sentiment, but I've seen things on OutSchool that have made me think that I may not always be an OutSchool teacher.
Right.
Because their political perspective is a little different than mine. But I love their platform. I'm just not sure if I will be there forever.
And that's the thing, like it's the thing that I don't really agree with is saying that certain things can be on their platform, but certain things can't be on their platform. Where, if everything was allowed, it would be one thing, but where they're not allowing certain things,
Mhm.
yeah, that's where we
It's
might
like
differ.
two
Yeah.
sides, and one side is being extremely censored. The other side has zero censorship. I mean, we see it on Facebook too, right? But
And that's the problem is like I've had people join my classes and then they start getting ads for things and then they back out. They back out of the platform because they're not. But I tell them, you don't have to, as a parent, you can choose whatever. Like if I know the person, like say for you, I'd say sign up for Evelyn's class. I know her worldview. I know, I agree with it. I can vouch for you. That's not going to be a problem. But then they don't like the ads that come into their Facebook feed. So
yeah.
that's
And I specifically hire teachers that I know from VIP Kid because a few times I've signed up for classes and I did not like the teachers that I didn't know. I
yeah,
didn't like their teaching style. So the VIP Kid teachers are really good.
yeah. I know. That's the thing. That's why I'm excited about this other company because I'm hoping she can tap into that. I just think it definitely takes a long time to iron out the logistics of the platform to make it user
Right.
friendly. It probably costs a lot of money to get all those clicks that we're used to. That makes it easier. So that's, I'm sure, part of the issue in a startup company. You don't have the money to put into the fancy bells and whistles.
For example, you can look at our YouTube channels. They've been slow going because we don't put money into advertisement for our YouTube channels. We just kind of get what we get. But yeah.
That's true. That's true. So we do rely on thumbs up, comment below. It makes it go a
Thank
long
you for
way.
watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a little shout out to a new venture that I'm getting into, and it is called This Way Network, and you can check it out. It's This Way Network. They have a bunch of different shows. There's a Bible reading. I think it's 11 a.m. I keep thinking it's 10 a.m., but 11 a.m. Eastern Standard. They read the Bible every day and comment on it. There's a chat session. They do talk about some news articles from the Christian worldview.
Oh,
There's
wow.
a lady on there who, her name's Diana, and she has cancer, and she's kind of shares a little bit about her cancer journey. It's called Faith Stronger Than Cancer, and she's really awesome. And they have a newsletter you can sign up for that I wrote a little article about, one of the recent Supreme Court decisions that came down that was pretty substantial for our generation. And so you could check that out, This Way Network. And I'm actually a volunteer in the program right now and just kind of working on helping behind the scenes and just kind of learning the ropes right now. But I'm kind of going to be working with them more as time goes along. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe do a show or something. We'll see. But yeah, and then they have one of my friends that you may have seen on my show, Don Riddell. He teaches guitar, and he does a free guitar lesson once a week called Let's Jam. So that's This Way Network. So I have my guitar right here that I got to get practicing again. But that's what a new thing that I'm also learning is the guitar. I've had this guitar for years and I have never learned how to play it.
I would love to learn guitar. That is awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, so guys, check it out. What they're hoping to do is that it will be a network where people can go and just have different, kind of like a YouTube thing, only it's their own network type of thing.
Is it a website or is it an app?
It's on YouTube right now.
It's on
So
YouTube.
you go to YouTube, but they also have thiswaynetwork.com where you can sign up for the newsletter.
Good to know. I'm writing that down. This Way Network.
Yeah. There's a lot to it, a lot more than that, but just to.
Oh, I wanted to say too, while we're on the topic, I was not impressed with like YouTube Kids.
Oh.
And like Disney Plus. So what I paid $50 for the year. I got an app called Yippee for my kids that has a lot of just like Christian programming for kids. So they can pick a video, any video, and they're all, like we have a Christian channel that has kids shows on public TV. It's all those shows, like they'll have like science, but it's like from a Christian perspective, and it's a kids show, and they'll have Veggie Tales and a bunch of different shows, but it's all, not questionable.
I mean, yeah, because my son Evan, sometimes he'll watch stuff. He's like has no discernment, and he'll watch stuff, and I'll hear what they're talking about. It's just not good. It is not good. They're trying to definitely poison the kids' minds. So there's a book that I'm actually reading online right now, and it's another, since I'm an hour into it, only a few people are going to get to this point in the video. So it's called A Battle for the American Mind, Uprooting a Century of Miseducation. And I'm just kind of listening to it on audio right now, like as I do my gardening or whatever. But it's pretty amazing what education has been the last 100 years. It kind of validates what you are seeing, and it kind of puts in perspective that what you're seeing is not you're not crazy. There's something intentional going on, and we need to see what it is and then face it, and teach our kids the right way and pray for them. Yeah.
Pray
Uh,
for that discernment. And also, like, if you have opportunities, like when you hear your kid like listening to something, having a conversation rather than like a conversation like you're in trouble, blah blah blah, but having a conversation about like what do you think the Bible says about what they're saying. You know what I mean?
yeah. And so the Bible's true. There's nothing new under the sun. And there is a spiritual warfare going on, and it's always been there since the beginning of time, since Adam and Eve. So it's just good to be aware of it. And like this morning, I was very discouraged and I just was feeling a little bit defeated. And then I said, we are alive. God gave us breath. He has a purpose for us, and he wins life every day. Every day this earth goes on, another day is a win for God, because if it were up to the evil, we would all be destroyed right now. And I love that verse that says, his uh only by his mercies we are not consumed. His mercy allows us to live every day. So
And do you remember at the beginning of the pandemic, we weren't supposed to live to 2022? So, like, I mean, that's a plus.
what's that? Oh, I know. That's why I tell people.
You and I were sewing masks to save people's lives.
Exactly. I know. I laughed so
We
hard.
did a 180 and we're like, okay.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. That's why I say it, if I can figure it out, anybody can figure it out. I know. And I have so much more confidence. And I have met so many great people through this whole thing too. Where before I was home, I was with my kids, I knew the right thing, but I felt like I was alone, fighting the world, kind of. Not really fighting like, physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Tell me about, you were elected for a position on the school board. What was your position called?
So I am a school board member, and so we have five people on the school board. And so yeah, it's basically, yeah, you go when you want to volunteer. Anybody in our town can volunteer, and you do what you have to do. You get signs made up, you call people, you campaign and see what happens. And I'm like, well, I'm going to just at least try, because I want to feel like I at least tried, right? And I was really surprised I got elected. Sometimes I feel like it's only one of five, so if I choose something different than the other four, it's not necessarily going to do anything. They're still going to win, right?
Yeah.
But
you at least have a voice.
An opportunity. I'm learning something. I'm trying to be there. I guess my main thing is, try and see what's going on and make the parents, like encourage the parents if they do stand up and say something, that I would give them validation type of thing. And but it's interesting because you can't just, as one school board member, you can't just change everything. And there's a lot of rules. They go by policies, and I've learned a lot of stuff I never knew before. And I guess I'm really perplexed why the conservatives left it all alone and allowed the liberal people to take over, when we pay the money. Like, we pay taxes just the same as everybody else, and we just kind of let them have our money and just go along with our lives.
I find it interesting too when you see like teachers on TikTok and stuff like that talking about sneaky ways of putting the pride flag, or sneaky ways of
I've never seen that.
Oh, okay. Well, all
You should send them to me when you see them, because I don't even do TikTok.
I'm not on TikTok, but I
okay.
see conservatives on YouTube showing those videos anyway.
Wow.
It just makes you think. I think Christians that are teachers in the public school, we just sort of let go of that battle and just
Yeah.
it over and said, "Oh, they said I'm not allowed to talk about Jesus, so I guess I won't say anything about Jesus." Whereas we've got people on the opposing side that are like, any sneaky way that I can teach this, even
So
though they
strange.
tell me no, I'm going to do it. And it's like, why can't we be so persistent about the gospel?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, if they fire me, they fire me. But like, at least I shared God's love. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing about it is the message, I've boiled it down to this, okay? The message of the Bible is to think of others, right? Love God first and love others. So when I do something as a mother, I'm doing it for the benefit of my children. I want the best for them. I want them to be healthy. I want them to be smart. I want them to thrive in this world. And the message for the other side is the opposite, and what's going on right now is just pure selfishness. I want to do what I want to do. I don't care. You have to call me the name I want to be called. And if you don't call me the name I want to be called, I'm going to bring you to court, things like that. It's so selfish. I can wear whatever I want. And I try to tell my kids, you can wear what you want, but other people have to look at you. When you have manners, you're having manners because other people have to endure what you're doing. So when you have manners, it's pleasant to them to look at someone with manners. It's pleasant to look at someone who looks nice and has their hair combed and they're awake, and it's not nice to look at people with hair in their face and, their head down or something like that. I'm just trying to give examples that won't offend people, but I'm just saying that it's a battle between doing it God's way, which would be unselfish, and doing it in the other opposite way, whichever you call it, which would be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For example, when I was in school, we were being taught about evolution and stuff like that. And I remember raising my hand in science class and saying, like, okay, so with the Big Bang Theory, which they didn't say theory, they just called it like it was a fact, right? I said, but okay, so you're saying so we don't know the end of the universe. Like, it keeps going on, and there's like balls of gas, but there's also like planets with life on them. And all of this came from something smaller than a molecule, and it just like all happened at once, or it's like continuing to expand. So do you believe what you're teaching us? That's what I said. And then the students around me were like, you can't ask the teacher if he believes what he's teaching us. I'm like, why can't you though? Like, if our teacher doesn't believe what he's teaching us, why is he not allowed to say this is a bunch of hogwash, but I have to teach it to you? Or like, this isn't what I believe. This is a theory that I have to teach you. Why can't we hear the teacher's perspective on it? We're allowed to hear the teacher's perspective on it if they agree with it. Why can't we hear the teacher's perspective on it if that teacher happens to believe the Bible? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's very like, as teachers, we are forced to not state our beliefs while at the same time being forced to teach things we don't believe or get out. And so a lot of teachers have gotten out because they got tired of it. But I think it's a shame that it is the way that it is. You know what I mean?
Well, it's not just that you would get tired of it either. Sometimes it becomes so difficult that you think I can't maintain that policy. Like I can't, I'm going to mess up. So I might as well leave now before I do get accused of something, or like for me, I never put my kids in public school because I didn't want to be in that, where I'm always trying to judge them. I just feel like, why don't I just put them in a place that agrees with my worldview type of thing.
Mhm.
But the truth of the matter is, it is a public school and it's supposed to represent the community. It's
Mhm.
not supposed to represent one encapsulated type situation. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to, um, I don't know. I guess the fine line would be if you said, I believe this is one thing, but when you're telling the kids this is the way it is for real. Like even when I went to the Christian school and my teachers, we went all through evolution, we went through all the different worldviews. They told us why people believe in evolution, why they believe in these different worldviews, and where their error might be, what the Bible says about it, and this is what we believe the Bible says about it. Like the teacher isn't saying, I believe this. They're saying, the Bible says this. And we've already established that the Bible is the truth. So that's where we went with that. And so I think that we have kind of, I think the recent, there's been a couple Supreme Court decisions. Number one, the prayer of the guy that he prayed after a football game or something, and they said that was not acceptable, and the Supreme Court said that it's okay because he was doing it himself. He wasn't like calling everybody together to make them pray. And then there was another decision where they said something about, I'm going to look this one back up, about the money, where people were saying that if kids get money for education, it shouldn't go to, like, say, a religious school because there's separation of church and state. And the truth is, we're all taxpayers. So if that were the truth, then we shouldn't be paying into the government because we don't agree with everything the government is.
I love that your state does that. I wish my state did that. My kids would go to Christian school right now if I could afford it.
Well, we have like an education freedom account, which won't pay for your entire thing. But this is only the second year that they've done this. And some people are complaining about it because they don't want the money going to a religious school or something like that. But, it is a good thing. It is a big effort. But the thing is, there is a cap, a monetary cap on it. So in our state, you almost can't, it eliminates a lot of people. And so they're like, just because we work hard, we make more money and we can't qualify for the money which we've paid in, it kind of doesn't make sense. But I guess people told me it's like a starting point, and they have the bill, and then they can maybe up that the money limit. But yeah, but there might be other states that follow suit at some point.
Yeah.
Or there might be some other types of ways that they do it, like maybe for special education. Did you look into help for special education?
Well,
Usually pretty open.
here's what they offer. The public school has a special needs preschool 5 days a week, half day.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my issue with it. If I drop my child off, who is not able to verbally tell me what happens,
Yeah.
I drop him off 5 days a week, half a day. What's happening while he's there? Did he bite someone? Are they going to tell me if he bit someone? Did he cry for an hour? Are they going to tell me if he cried for an hour? Did another kid punch him in the face? Are they going to tell me if another kid? You know what I mean? My thing is, I have several friends that their kids are older now, and when they were autistic, they went to special needs preschools. And as they're older, like in high school and older, they're able to talk about the abuse they endured during that time. And so I just have to be really careful. Like I just saw a post the other day in a group, and so they really push ABA therapy, which is behavior therapy, which is 40 hours a week for little kids, teaching them how to pretend not to be autistic.
Oh man.
autistic adults are out there on the internet telling everyone this is abuse, don't do this.
Oh, man.
I don't do that. I just have speech therapy and I'm present for it
Yeah,
and they come to my home. But I'm not going to drop my kid off to someone for them to abuse him and he can't tell me about it. I
right.
just saw a post that um her this little boy had a concussion at his therapy. I don't know who caused the concussion or if he just fell on his own like they said. But they didn't seek medical attention. It happened at 10 a.m. and at 4 p.m. they let the mom know about it. And they had fed him lunch and he threw up. And
Oh,
so
man.
they let her know. But he had suffered a concussion. He could have lost his life because of their negligence. So
Mm.
I am hesitant to trust them with my little one
At
because
that age, that's kinda young too. But I
yeah.
think that's a great idea to have speech therapy come in and,
Because I'm present for it and they agree with me on a lot of the things. For example, my son lays on the floor on his tummy when he is either overstimulated or bored or tired or whatever. It's his coping mechanism. Rather than having a meltdown, he lays on the floor until he feels okay, which may take a minute or two, right? Well, if I took him to some of these therapies, they would train him that that behavior is not okay. Well, if you take away his coping mechanisms, then
mm,
he's going to have other behavior problems. You know what I mean? Or you're teaching a message to him that the way he is naturally is not acceptable to society, and
mhm.
that has led to a lot of suicide in the autism community. So I just am very cautious and careful who I trust with my little one, especially since I've worked in the public schools and they just lack funding for the correct support for a lot of the behavior issues they have in the public schools. So I'm very thankful I can homeschool. I'm very thankful for my husband that he works that we can afford to homeschool. So I really am cautious who I hand my child over to. He goes to homeschool co-op to his little nursery. He goes to
Mhm.
church nursery. So he interacts with other little kids, but I am right there and I can volunteer in the church nursery and I can volunteer in homeschool co-op nursery so I can see how they're treating him and how it's going, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah. I know there's a lot of good teachers, and I'm sure it's hard that, there might be I know my daughter, Lily, she wants to be a physical therapist, and she's gone into the schools and helped, teachers and observed, and she has high regard for these people. So I'm sure that there's some really good ones, and you just don't know. And when it's your child, you have to make the decision that is best for your child. And that's what I am thankful that we can do. And
yeah.
um, I know for myself, when I'm going to be making some more videos on education on my channel, and reading this book helps me, especially at the beginning when the guy was saying that, you know, there's two men that are writing this book together, and they're like, we're not perfect. Nothing we've done is perfect. We're not here to tell anyone that we're the authority because do it my way. I've got the perfect solution for everything. I can be kind of down on myself and think maybe but looking back, I mean, I'm sure I do a lot of good things. But then I can remember all the times where I messed up. And, there's times where like for myself, I felt all alone, like, with this mountain of work and stuff to do. And maybe I didn't even have the right training to teach kids that had meltdowns or whatever. And we just do the best we can as a parent. And in this world, people go to daycare and they have problems. They go to public school, they have problems. They homeschool, they have problems. Like, this whole world is full of problems, no matter which way you go. But you do the best for your family, and that's what you are responsible for, and
Yeah.
if you have an intuition that right now, hey, at 2.5, I'm keeping my kid home, it might be that when he's 7 or 8, you feel like I need more help, and you take it as you go. You don't have to decide for a whole lifetime,
Yeah.
today. So I know
And
I have friends like that had like Down syndrome, and they're like, "Oh, I would never ask for help," but then it gets to a point where they're like,
you need help.
you
Yeah.
need the help, and then they become friends, with the teachers, and they have a trust there, and the Lord puts the right people in their life, and that's the most important thing. So Luann says you're doing the right thing. I worked with ABA autistic adults and children. It's a one size fits all. So they
It's a
try.
therapy with a lot of controversy behind it, but it all boils down to it depends on who the therapist is, and maybe 1 in 10 is a good therapist, but you never know who you're gonna get. It's the luck of the draw, and you don't want to.
And kids are different too. Like I would think autism, isn't that like variable? Like you might have someone that's got really like severe problems, and then you've got another kid who's just a
Yeah.
little bit of problems. So
So yeah, there are 3 levels, but people say that talking about the levels means you're being ableist because you shouldn't talk about the levels. But Caleb's a level 2. Level 3 would be nonverbal. Level 1 would be like maybe could pass as not autistic.
wow,
So
okay.
Caleb's level 2, which means he's very delayed in a lot of areas. But he's also got his areas of strength. You know what I mean? He's not nonverbal. He has words, but he's very behind. Whereas I'll talk to other moms that have 2 and 3 year olds, and I'll be like, so does your kid talk very much? And they're like, yes. What does your kid say? Oh, my kid says everything. I'm like, oh, okay, sounds interesting. But I have to be careful not to compare my child to others because
Yeah.
he's on his own journey.
Mhm.
But it's helpful to know where other kids his age are at so that I can make goals for helping him to succeed. But yeah,
And the other thing is, even the fourth of kids, like your kids, are all very good talkers, and the fourth one could just be, even if he's normal, could be less verbal because he doesn't really have to talk, more laid back type thing.
well, my son Joshy, he was a delayed talker, so he did the same speech therapy. So
Right.
I thought that he was just going on the same path as his
Oh,
brother. But then when they came and observed him, they told me their list of concerns for autism and ended up referring him for autism diagnosis and everything, which
okay.
it's really good to know because that way I understand him more and understand how to meet his needs more. I understand that lights and sounds can be overwhelming for him and how he's seeking sensory input because his body has more of a need for more sensory things, but then also certain social situations are uncomfortable for him. So it
Mhm.
helps to have the diagnosis so that I can better understand my child and how to meet his needs. You know what I mean?
Right. That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
I recently made a very helpful video on my channel for parents of kids with autism. It's about eloping. Eloping is when your kid just like takes off running away from you. And so I made a video talking about safety things. I dress my son in a bright shirt. I bring a stroller along. I bring snacks and stuff so that if I have to contain him, I choose parks and stuff that may have a fence or maybe far away from traffic because he tends to run away from me and he doesn't understand the social cues for returning. And so I that's
Interesting.
dangerous for kids with autism. So I am working on teaching him to stop and come back to mama, but it's still a challenge for him. So anyway, I made a video about eloping and advice for parents of little ones with autism because sometimes when you hear about a little kid that got out the door and went down the road, sometimes what they don't say on the news is that the kid might have been autistic, and so that sometimes isn't another
Mm.
factor. You have to be careful and make sure you have locks that can contain your kids and stuff because little ones with autism tend to run away, and that's a big safety hazard.
Yep.
So anyway, I have a long list of ways that I'm keeping Caleb safe because he likes to run away, and it's not that he doesn't like me; it's that he likes to run. You know.
Right, right. Now, have you connected with other parents because of your YouTube videos? Have people
Um,
found them?
I've made friends with other parents of kids with autism, and but not through YouTube. A lot of times, honestly, like I'll have a friend on Facebook that says, "Hey, can I get you connected with this other mom? She also homeschools and she has a 4-year-old with autism and she speaks Spanish. So can you talk to her because she's feeling discouraged and stuff?" So
Cool.
I make new friends that way because people recommend me. And
Yeah.
then so like I make friends at the park and stuff. I'll be talking to people and we'll find out that each other's kids are autistic and we'll end up making friends. And so yeah, it's good for my kids to see as well, like older kids that have autism and stuff, and how it can look different in other kids, and learn to interact with kids with special needs.
Yeah.
Because I want my kids to grow up
Yeah.
compassionate, and not.
Well, we have a boy that lives not far from us that is autistic. He's like around Evan's age, and
Mhm.
Evan's really good with him. And
Uh-huh.
he like I guess he has issues with like a temper type thing. In the like he wants everything the same. And his mother lets him take his bike down to the neighborhood. And last Saturday, he's a big kid. He's an adult size. And
Mhm.
we were splitting wood, and my husband and two other adults, and he came in and helped them. He loves to do like yard work, and
Yeah.
he's a very good helper. And so that's the thing, that they can be very much a blessing because they don't have like, other teenagers, oh, where are all the kids my age, or, I'm bored, I want to go to, Canopy Lake or something. These kids are somewhat simple, and they're happier with everything the same. Like he'll ask, where's this person? Where's that person? Where's your chickens? Where's your cat?
Oh, the
Where's your dog?
routine. Yeah. Yeah. The
So,
routine. It's
yeah.
because, and I suspect that my brother growing up, see, years ago, they didn't really diagnose people with autism hardly ever. And I
Mm-mm.
suspect that my brother growing up, that he's autistic. So anyway, really need that routine to be okay. And if something's different or out of place, it's kind of like, well, why? You know what I mean? Would like an explanation as to why the cat is not here or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He's always like, where's Evan? Where's the cat? Where's the dog? Yeah, yeah. He does pretty well. But Evan's the one who met him, and then they became friends. So he'll ride his bike down, and I'm glad that, that Evan is sensitive to that, and they're good friends. They go over, play basketball, and ride bikes together and stuff like that. So,
That's awesome. I oftentimes see, because I'm in a group on Facebook for parents of kids with autism, and I often see posts of parents saying, "I'm so depressed that my kid is autistic because they'll never be married someday. They'll never have a regular life." And I'm like, I I honestly have 3 different friends who are married to autistic men. So it
really?
doesn't
Wow.
mean they won't have a regular, I mean, depending on their severity, right? Doesn't
Right.
mean they won't have a regular life, but they will have their own challenges because they're living in a neurotypical world. It's almost like being left-handed in a right-handed world.
Mm.
Being autistic in a neurotypical world, our world is set up not for them, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't cater to their specific needs. And so that is why it is a disability, is because of the way we have society set up, basically.
And that's our job too as parents, is to, and every kid is unique, no matter if they're normal, they're still going to have limitations of some sort, and they're going to have talents. And that's where we're supposed to kind of figure that out, help them along their way. So hopefully, I'm hoping to put on some videos on education, and that's homeschool. That's part of homeschooling, is that you can cater to those needs, or you know nurture the strengths of your children, and they can do what they want to do. And then if you love, say, horses, you can have a curriculum all about horses.
Yeah.
You don't have to completely get, why do random English classes? You could just pick a book about horses, find all the nouns, find all the verbs. It's something they like to learn about, draw horses. I mean, you can do art, go ride a horse, watch movies about horses, you know.
Yeah.
So you can, and you pick a horse. I remember one year there's a curriculum called the Robinson curriculum where they tell you to do math for 2 hours, read for 2 hours, and write for 1 hour, or write one page. So basically you're doing math, English, and writing every day.
Would you believe my kids, I make them do 2 pages of writing and they tell me, "My hand hurts."
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
I
"In
know.
public school, you would be doing a
Oh
lot
yeah,
more
definitely.
writing than 2
Kids
pages."
do not gravitate to writing these days. I mean, some kids like it. Like my daughter Lily, she wanted to be a writer. Like she journals, she writes all the time. She loves art. She'll do calligraphy. But the boys, writing is just like torture. But like if you just make them like for this one year, I said you can write about anything you want every day. I have a set of encyclopedias. We didn't have internet. Or you can read something in a book and write about it, or you can pick a topic. So one kid, he picked a different animal every single day. Like he picked the most random animals.
Oh,
Like
cool.
he's learning all about animals, and that's what he prefers to read about. So you read it and you write something about it, and it turns out to be fun because sometimes they make up funny stuff because they're like, let's just make this funny.
Yeah.
And I wonder if mom's going to read this. I'll just, write all this stuff. And then, if she doesn't laugh, I'll know she didn't read it. So I wrote some pretty funny ones. But that's called Robinson. They do have their own books like that but they're all like what do you call it? Copyright. They're not copyrighted, so you can print them off. I printed a lot of them off onto my own paper. They're old. They're on Gutenberg.org.
Mhm,
And a lot of the older books have better vocabulary. That's the thing. So, like, say you have a really good reader that's in first grade.
mhm.
Well, if you want to give her more challenging reading, you have to go up in grade, which in our culture right now, that's going to be more and more mature content. You
Yes.
don't want her reading that kind of stuff. So if she's a good reader and you go to the old books, like there's a series called the Jolly Robin series by Sir Walter Scott. It's all about animals and they're all personified. So there's
Wow.
Johnny Robin, there's Solomon Owl, there's Chirpy Cricket, and they all have the personality of that animal
Mhm.
in the animal world. So they're really cool. And the vocabulary is a lot more advanced than what first graders would read today, but it's a first
Yeah,
grade book. So
that's
what I did when I taught first grade, like 8 years ago or so, I had amazing readers. They finished all the readers before the end of the year. And
awesome.
so I had those printed out and they all got a copy of it. And it would be like, if you like this, you can get more on Gutenberg.org for yourself.
That's
But they were really fun. But you can read them right offline. Like if you want to read out loud to your kids, you can get them free on the Kindle and just read them out loud. I would do those for reading aloud. That's really good for kids too, is
awesome.
read aloud. I would recommend that for your family. The Jolly Robin series, you would love it. You read the first one, you'll be hooked.
Oh, good to know. Good to
But
know.
they don't have them. You can buy them. They do have copies you can buy. But if you want it free, you can get it on Kindle and you could do print it out yourself, but you can also get them on Amazon.
Oh, good to
Buy the book. Yeah.
know.
So that's one of the things about homeschooling that's good is you can pick the content for the readers. You can read things that, like they always say, read out loud one or two levels beyond the ability your children have. And
Oh,
then they grow in the vocabulary naturally. You won't have to okay, it's time for our spelling words, our vocabulary words, or whatever. Their vocabulary will increase as you read to them and you use those words. So,
that's really good. That's awesome.
Yeah, so reading out loud was a huge part of when my kids were little.
Yeah.
I
Every
loved
day we go to the public school nearby has a free lunches for kids, so I'll bring books along to read to my kids while they're eating.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, we always did like afternoon, even when they didn't take naps, I made them lay down. So I would make them all lay down and then I would read whatever, for like a half hour. And then I would rest, like be quiet. Everybody has to be quiet for at least 15 minutes or half hour or whatever, just so I could have peace and quiet for a few minutes. And then we could go along with our day. But so as they got older, they missed that time because in real life, you don't really get an
Quiet.
hour afternoon break.
Aw.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming and talking, and we've made it a long time.
It's been good. Yeah.
So we'll have to do it again.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Oh,
We still have 2 watchers. I don't know who's left till the very end, but thank you so much for watching.
Watching for an hour and 40 minutes.
Well, it sounds like Luann, she figured out the person behind This Way Network is Maricopa Mike. I don't know if you ever watched that stuff. Like he's a guy that he was on YouTube. Well, he's still on YouTube. I think he's Sweet Home Maricopa is his channel.
Oh.
But he's actually the one who does a lot of stuff on the network. So that's kind of cool that Luann knows who he is. All right. So I guess I will see you. I have a big day ahead of me. And is it hot where you are?
Yes, we have heat advisories, but the weird thing is it's heat advisories, but our highs are like 95. So I guess it's just like really, I don't know, you feel the heat more. I don't know.
Humid, yeah. Maybe not much of a breeze or something.
I guess.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I'll be looking forward to more gardening videos. And your garden is always a little bit ahead of mine.
Okay. Yeah, because my estimated last frost date's a little bit before yours.
Okay. What was yours? Do you remember this year?
Mother's Day.
Mother's Day. Okay. So yours is probably
here you can plant potatoes on St. Patrick's Day. So I'm planting some potatoes early. So.
Okay. Did you get potatoes? Did you get potatoes?
The plants are growing. They take a few months.
Because mine are still growing. I have no idea when they're going to be done, but
yeah,
they say they just kind of die off or something.
Yeah,
the green does.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, hey, I'm planning on doing some videos like dump the bag out and see how many potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm pleasantly surprised. We'll see.
When in doubt, wait longer.
Really?
Because last year I harvested too early.
Oh, really? Yeah, someone was telling me that they basically, the longer you wait, they keep growing. So,
yep. It's like the plant grows first and then it starts to flower.
Oh, okay.
And then the potatoes start to grow.
Oh,
and then it starts to die off as the potatoes start to get bigger. So what you see on the surface does not represent what is underneath.
Okay, that makes sense. That brings it to a picture in my mind. They look pretty though. They're so I have the bags and they look bushes right in my front yard. It looks impressive that I'm actually growing something.
It's awesome. That's great.
All right. Well, I will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.